So everybody comfortable?
Yeah.
You comfortable? Yes, your microphone, please.
I'm very comfortable, thank you.
You're happy with the performance on the stage today?
Yeah, I felt really, really great. I mean, the crew here is amazing. Globen is an amazing arena, and yeah, I think the rehearsal went really, really well.
Anything to work with in the future?
If there wasn't, I would be very worried. That would mean that I've given up. But no, there's a lot of things to work on. But that's, I think that's what creating an art piece, that's what it's like. You always have something. You're never finished. You always want to tweak a little bit.
We have some time to do that.
We do have some time.
Yeah. It's the second time for you in the Eurovision Song Contest?
Yes.
What does this event stand for you personally?
I think actually the slogan for this year, come together, I think that's what Eurovision really represents. And I think now more than ever, we need events like this. We need events to, for different countries to come together and create something that's, this is a festival, this is a celebration. And nothing should, stand in the way of that.
What experience do you bring with you coming to Stockholm now from the last time?
I mean, it's been 4 years, and 4 years in an artist's life is a long time. In 2012, I was relatively new to the pop scene. I'm a classical violinist, so I have my musical background. But in 2012, I kind of had to spring out really, really fast. But in the last 4 years, I've gotten some amazing opportunities that I'm extremely grateful for. I've been touring with Disney for almost 2 years now, doing a headliner show for them, and just doing my own concerts. I published my first album, and performing. And I think with every performance, you become more gutsy, more determined. And I think for me, what I bring this time around is, of course, a strong message with a song, but I think also more experience, definitely.
You said strong message. Can you explain the song for us?
Yeah.
What stands for you?
Yeah. I think we can all relate to this, because this is something that I think everyone, has experienced. In today's society, we're so exposed to the negative voices and to the negative influences. And it's everywhere. It's on Facebook, Twitter, it's in the media, and it's easy to get caught up in all of that. And I think for me, the most important thing that I want to stress with this song is to not listen to those voices, and really, be a positive voice to one another and focus on the positive ones. And I think, sitting in a room full of media, I think that's something we can all, take into account, that what we say. Everything, we bear responsibility. What we say online, the person, the artist, the politician, the person, they will see that. And the positive messages, the positive influences, those are the ones that will make our world a better place, really. I know it's a cliche, it sounds like I'm on Miss World Peace. But ultimately, that's what we want, right? So I think for me, coming here with this song is my contribution to that.
How was the process working and building this song to what it is?
It's been a long process. I wrote the song in English in September, October, when I just got home from Disney. And, I wrote it at home in my home studio, and I was actually saying to my head of delegation, the trouble you get yourself into, you sit down at your piano for a few minutes, and then here you are. But, the process it's been long, but it all starts from here, of course, and sitting at home in my pink home studio, creating this song, and then, I entered the pre-selections back home. With Rattirnar, we have to perform in Icelandic in our pre-selections, so I had to translate into Icelandic, and then when the song won, we had to kind of, reconstruct everything. And and here we are, and I'm so thrilled with the final product. We actually went to Mr. Ash's house, he wrote Ellie Goulding's Lights. He works with One Direction, he works with Kylie Minogue. She actually took up our studio time the day before we came there. But no, he works with amazing artists, and he had a lot to say with the final mix. So yeah, it's been a long process, but I have amazing people in every corner, and they've put their fingerprints on this work of art.
Brilliant. So, shall we take some questions from the audience? Please, the lady back there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. My name is Leuke.
Hi, Leuke.
So this year we have several entries that rely on visual effects, and in some of them it plays quite a big role, and in yours, obviously.
You think so?
Do you think that this will affect the success of the Icelandic entry?
I think that really depends on how you define the word success. For me, success with this song would be, getting this message across. For someone to see the song or hear the song and see the visuals and really get the concept. And that's actually already happened in Amsterdam. Like I've said this in interviews. There was a girl that came up to me who told me, I've been bullied for years. But when I listen to this song, I feel like I'm not alone, and I know I need to listen to the positive voices. So if my visuals, and they do, because when I wrote this song and we decided to take it to Eurovision, I went to 3 amazing artists and I asked them to create the visuals because I wanted to play with shadows. Because negative voices and negative influences are shadows. There are shadows in our lives. There are shadows, within ourselves. So the shadow thing was something that I wanted to play with from the start. And what better way than visuals, of course. We're playing with that in the costume too. We're playing with that with the shadows on the ground. The visuals that we're doing, this topic will be raised, of course. We've heard this a million times. We're doing a back projection with live shadows, something that we shot with my amazing choreographer. And so we're playing with, live stuff. We're playing with something that we created with ourselves within the group in a tiny studio in Iceland. So, we're doing our own thing. We're trying to stay really true to our concept. But of course, relying on visuals in Eurovision, duh. We've got this amazing stage. We've got all the equipment, and I think also visual arts. I've seen this with Disney too. It's getting so big. It means that you can have fewer people on stage with more of a show. So we only have six people on stage in Eurovision. So it's kind of a I would say an organic way to get more people on stage without getting more people on stage. So, of course, we rely on visuals, but every single piece of art that goes up on this stage is something that did not exist a few months ago. So everyone is creating their own thing. So, visuals are not, it's a 3-minute individual piece.
We have the technology, why not use it?
Exactly. We could say the same. If you have one person on stage with 3 backing dancers and vocalists, doing this, we've seen this in Eurovision so many times. There's nothing new under the sun, and they're not copying anything. They're doing their own thing on their own terms. We've seen one person on stage singing their ballad, with their hands held high. I would say a million times. It's not copying. It's doing your own thing with your own, with your own conviction, I think.
Brilliant. This gentleman there.
Thank you.
Hi, Greta. Congratulations for your rehearsals today.
Thank you.
I'm Farouk from Eurovision magazine in France. You talked about your work with Disney. Can you talk about this experience with Disney, please?
Yes, so I was hired to Disney to do a show on so Disney has 4 cruise ships. I was hired to do a show on their Disney Dream, which is one of their biggest ships. There are approximately 8,000 people that go through that ship every week. And they have a big theater, it's called the Walt Disney Theater, and they have Broadway productions on that stage. So they asked me to come and create a show for them. So I went to Disney headquarters in Orlando and we created a show with amazing people from Disney, and I've learned so much from it. It's the biggest entertainment company in the world. They know how to do it right. So I think that's an experience that I definitely take with me, not just to Eurovision, but throughout my whole career.
Brilliant. Yes, please. More questions? In the back there, the black t-shirt.
Hello, Greta. Blair Martin from Radio 4ZZZ, Brisbane, Australia. You have a secret weapon. You've just been talking
I
about
know
it.
what secret weapon you're talking about. I'm good like that.
Yeah, I can understand that. You have Jonathan Duffy,
I
who
do.
is not only a countryman of mine, but he's from my same city.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, now he's a part of my city, I'm sorry.
He's an Australian, that's what he tells me.
Australian, yeah.
Is that the connection? Is there a sense between Iceland and Australia, both island nations? Do you feel a real connection with Jonathan because we are island nations?
Well, I know a lot of island nations that, I think it has to do with the individual. It's when you meet people. With me and Jono, we instantly clicked. When I asked him to do this project, the answer was, yeah, let's do it right. Let's make something amazing. Let's create something that hasn't been done before. And we did. We just sat down at a cafe, we made a Pinterest board. Well, I showed him my Pinterest board. And and then we took it from there. And as you know, Jono is not just a filmmaker, he's a comedian too. And let me tell you, having a comedian on board, it lightens the mood quite a lot. But I've spent a lot of time with Jono, for the past months, and I can honestly say he's become one of my absolute best friends. So I'm sorry, I'm not giving him back.
You're extremely experienced, and I know that Eurovision Song Contest is extremely popular in Iceland. Do you feel the pressure from your audience, for your countrymen?
Of course, and I think, of course there's always pressure, but I think it's so important to know, in Eurovision, it is a song contest, of course, but there's so many other things that come into play. And there's so many things that we can't affect. For example, we are an island. Let's face it, we don't have that many friends. We're isolated in the North, Atlantic Ocean. But so there are things that that come into play when it comes to scoring and placing and making it into the finals. But I see it differently this time. In 2012, it was because I didn't know the competition as well as I do now. So I was so caught up in making it to the final and getting a good place. But this time, I know the competition and I know myself as a performer, and I know that Eurovision, it's an amazing opportunity and it's such a great thing. But it's not the beginning or the end of anything. It doesn't define the artist. We've seen so many amazing artists coming through Eurovision, with beautiful, beautiful songs, and not making it to the finals, but they have super successful careers. We've seen people making it really far, and then you don't really hear from them ever again. Eurovision is it's a venue, and it's amazing. But I think it's so important not to get caught up in the competition, because, well, for me at least, my favorite songs usually don't make it to the finals. But I still listen to them, and I couldn't name the winners of the past, of the past 20 years, but I can usually name you my favorite song, And that's the great thing about Eurovision. People have different tastes. We come from different places, come together. That's the slogan, right? So I think, I see this competition as a huge concert. It's a huge show. And I see it as a platform, at least for me this time, to at least bring something good into the world, and really get this message across, because it is a message that's dear to my heart. And I think in today's society, we need positivity more now than ever.
Which means winning maybe is secondary.
I think, when I was in London, one of the guys from Cyprus, we were talking and he said, you know what? There might be a winner. There might be one specific winner, but there are no losers in Eurovision. To make it this far, most of the contestants have gone through, pre-selections, they've won their national finals, then they've done an amazing work, to get here. You can't be a loser after that. It's a huge process, and just to get up on that stage and perform for 200 million people, you don't do that every day. And it's not a small task. So I think, there are no losers. There might be a winner, but there are no losers. So, and for me at least, winning for me would mean touching at least one person with this message. That's a winner for me, regardless of the placing.
Great. Yes, the gentleman in the back in the blue-white shirt. Stand up, please. Yeah.
Hello, this is Fernando Mendes with Radio International.
Hey.
Hi, Greta.
Hi, hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien. ¿Tú?
Ah, muy bien, gracias.
Nice Spanish.
Muchas gracias.
Well, in 2012, you came to the Eurovision Song Contest singing with Johnson. This year, you are coming on your own. What's the difference between singing in a duet and singing solo?
I could tell you that there's a huge difference, but there really isn't, because it's of course about going up there and doing your best. I might be alone on stage this time, but I've got the graphics behind me with my team actually on them. I've got my choreographer doing this on the graphics, and then I have 5 backing vocalists, in the right behind me, so I don't feel alone on stage. But I do have to rely on myself, of course, and that's a challenge, but, I do like my challenges, so.
Great. Yes, the two gentlemen, you choose who wants to start. Alice, okay. Who takes the microphone first?
Hi Greta, welcome back to Eurovision. Alistair Birch from
Thank you so
SBS
much.
Radio in Australia. I'd like to hear a little more about performing on a cruise ship. How different is it from performing on dry land? And have you ever been, has the movement of the ship ever got in the way of your performances?
I always find it interesting when people talk about, how has it been on the cruise ships? Are you doing the casino show? and that's why I usually talk about, I've been with Disney, because Disney is a level above, to me, everything else. There's a reason why Disney is the most famous trademark in the world, because they, like I said, they do it right. So, I really didn't feel like I was on sea with Disney, because, like I said, you have 8,000 people coming through the, through the ship every week. That's bigger than my hometown in Iceland. So, and being a performer on the ship, you just, you're in the theater, you're working with your technicians and your team, and it's not any different than doing, I wouldn't say this, but just your everyday gigs and your concerts and your shows. So, it isn't really different. What was different for, working for Disney was that I learned so much. I had, directors from Broadway, I had world-class dancers with me, I had graphic designers and costume designers from Disney. So I think and one thing that I really take with me from Disney is when there were problems and when, we would have an idea and it would be like, I don't know if we can do that. The question would always be, well, why not? And that's something that I really take with me. But with the motion, there was this one incident when, because I fly in my Disney show when I'm doing the Frozen medley. And it was during hurricane season. And let me tell you, when you're on a ship, 10 meters up in the air, playing your violin and singing at the same time, do not do that at home, kids. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm okay.
One last question and a short answer.
Okay, it's Martijn van der Veen from the Netherlands. You told me in Amsterdam that this is an English song translated in Icelandic for the national final. I was wondering if you release a next album, for example, is it going to be in English or Icelandic?
Which would you prefer?
To be honest, Icelandic.
Well, Icelandic it is.
Perfect, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending. Greta, thank you very much. And we'll have the photo up over here.